Hello and welcome to Banking Frontiers Live. We are here for our corner office session, which is another very interesting session with the CEO of a leading financial services organization. With me today, I have Mr. Sridhar, who is the Vice Chairman and CEO of Indostar Capital. Mr. Sridhar, welcome to Banking Frontiers Live.
Thanks for the opportunity.
So let us start with the first question, sir. How have you been seeing a shift in the focus of business of the company in the last few years? What has been your observation?
See, it's always challenging to transition a business from one to another, and particularly in Indostar, which has been a institutionally owned and professional managed organization. I have been given the responsibility to see this transition through. So, from a corporate lending business, we are now moving to a granular retail financing business, mainly in used commercial vehicles and then affordable housing finance. Both businesses are very small ticket loans, which are less than 10 lakhs. So you will have to do a lot of loans for scaling up these businesses. But at the same time, the customers are mostly self-employed people. So credit evaluation is the most challenging in this. So that is why I believe that these two businesses are mostly relationship-based businesses where we have to build a relationship with truck owners as well as the house owners to scale these businesses. And the opportunity in these two businesses have been fantastic. So I am overseeing the transition. So the corporate lending business, we have run it down from a 4,500 crores to 1,900 crores. And in next 1 or 2 years, it will become zero. Simultaneously, we are building the retail business. Unfortunately, the last 2 years, 2.5 years have been very challenging with the credibility crisis on account of some large institutions' failure, followed by a pandemic, which has been wave one is over, now wave two, and there is an imminent threat of wave three coming in. Apart from that, the GDP has been sluggish. There has been a CV down cycle. All these challenges have put to test the capabilities of the team. And I would say that we have managed it well, survived, and during this period, we have done some great things. That is, right things at the right time is very essential for success. So during this sluggish phase of the pandemic, we have brought in a partner like Brookfield, which has helped us increase our capital adequacy to 35%. So we are one of the NBFCs which has the highest capital adequacy. It has helped us strengthen the ALM, and Brookfield's reputation as a second largest global private equity player with a strong and deep relationship with the banking community in India is also helping us in the liquidity pipeline. So on one stroke, we have solved all our liability side issues. So that is the time we thought that we should look at a huge growth in these two businesses. And with this, we are going to look at exciting growth in the next 5 years.
Great. That's a very interesting perspective of how you have transitioned from being a corporate banking or a corporate lending organization to a retail organization. So when you come to this vehicle finance market, especially, how do you see the demand rising, especially with the rising diesel prices, petrol prices, sluggish GDP? Where do you see the rise of the demand for vehicle financing, especially in the area of used vehicle finance?
See, the economic activity of the country, the GDP growth is directly linked to the trucking business. Because in India, the freight moves 70% by road and only 30% by railways. And that has been there for a very, very long time. There have been talks of railways taking over majority from the road transport, but it has not happened because India is a country with nook and corner. So it can be addressed only by the road transport. And economists have predicted that 1.25 times will be the freight incremental capacity required relating to the GDP growth. But the beauty in used vehicle financing business is it is not increasing any capacity. The capacity is already there. So we are only facilitating transfer of a vehicle from one person to another. So that is why we believe that used vehicle financing is not cyclical. And the second thing is that customers whom we are financing, that is bottom of the pyramid and small fleet owners, are mostly people who carry essential commodities. Unlike the new vehicles which are plying on the national highways, most of our trucks ply on the state highways, carrying essential commodities, which is also not cyclical. So the used vehicles play a very important role in the economy of the country by carrying mostly essential commodities which has no cycle. And the ownership of the trucking population in the country is fragmented. More than two-thirds of the owners are small fleet owners who are one or two, three vehicle owners. So there is always a talk of consolidation in ownership for a very, very long time. It has never happened. So more and more it is becoming small truckers are only dominating. Because of a very efficient truck freight intermediation, so there is always an outsourcing of small trucks who are cash and carry business they are doing. So from every angle, if you see, the trucking demand is going to keep on increasing, and it is directly linked to the economy. And particularly, non-cyclical used vehicle is the best for any financier who is aspiring to get into this business.
I think that was a very, very impressive view of what the used vehicle financing market is all about. Now, one of the key things is there are already 3 to 4 leading players, including your former organization, who have carved out a niche into vehicle financing. Now, in midst of all this, when a new company gets into it, okay, how can you be the key differentiator in this entire business, and what will fuel the business growth there?
See, historically, if you see large organizations like Sundaram, Chola, Sriram, and all that have been catering to this road transport business and have successfully created very good organizations. But the beauty of this is they have never competed. In the same industry, they are catered to different customer segments. So we are coming into this as the fourth aspirational player with an aspiration to build a leadership position. Because I always believe that in any business, if you become a leader, it is possible for you to scale up quickly. So we are coming with a leadership aspiration in the used vehicles, which are beyond the first time user customer segments. So that is the customer segment which we are carving for ourselves. I am clear that it is not easy for us to compete with the giants because we are a young company, we are new. But at the same time, people matter in any business. And in our case, right from me to my entire team are 2 decades, 3 decades in this business. The most important thing is being a small sized company, our growth rates are going to be phenomenal. And we are going to be nimble footed. The trucking business, particularly used commercial vehicles, are 3 to 4 years tenure. So because of that, the runoff is going to be steep. So if you have a bigger size, the runoff is going to be huge, and you have to run faster to remain at the same place. It's like running on a treadmill. So smaller companies will have an advantage to move quickly and grab market share without any capital or liquidity issues.
Interesting. One of the big things that you can note in this kind of business is that, especially if you are catering to the lower bottom of the pyramid, the credibility issues or the rating by the bureaus, etc., is very limited compared to that of the other fleet owners who already have a lot of fleet and have got income tax returns and things like that. So, like on one side, you said it is relationships that matter. What are the strategies with which organizations actually do this credibility rating of these people? And is there an application of technology also? How far has technology also penetrated into this area?
Yeah, so it's a, as I've told you, there are two things involved in truck finance business. One is the customer, the second one is the collateral. So you need to evaluate both. So when it come to customer, you build a relationship and also you use technology. Today, after work from home, the understanding of the technology has become, uh, intensified. So today we feel that after working from home for 15 months, you also realize that you can do everything by sitting at home through digital. So the customer evaluation is going to be mostly digital, like your KYC, your credit bureau checks, plus your repayment track records through bank verifications, and your credit scores. All that is going to be through digital method. And once the loan is given, the collections are completely going to be digital. Either he gives a posted a check earlier, now bank mandates are given. So it's getting automatically transferred. Only when checks bounce, then you'll have to go and collect physically. Otherwise, I estimate that more than 90% people will transact through digital. So these are all possible to bring in digital. We have been working with KPMG as our advisor in the last 6 to 8 months. And in the next 1 or 2 months, our loan management system with complete digitization is being introduced. We have also set up a very effective call center to talk to the customers on a periodic basis. We are also building a separate collection vertical to collect efficiently. So these are all to ensure that relationship maintained and collection is done properly. But when it comes to collateral, it's a asset which you will have to verify. You have to see whether there is a real asset is there. The second is you have to value the vehicle. Vehicle by look, it will be different, but you will have to start, you will have to see the engine condition. The tires are more valued in a truck that you have to see the body condition. Then there are a lot of checks which you need to do with the road transport authority. Because whether the title is there any other encumbrance, whether road tax is there, fitness is there, all these things to some extent you can do, but physical intervention is required. So what we are trying to do is we are going to mix the relationship as well as technology and digitization. Without that, you can't scale up today. Earlier it was fully 100% relationship, but now complete collection is digitization, KYC is digitization, credit bureau is digitization. There are softwares to detect the frauds. That is completely technology digitization. But when it comes to vehicle, as of today, majority of the things have to be done in physical manner. That is one. Second is, in our own interest, we understand that we survive in a particular business because it is niche and has got entry barriers. So we also would like to keep the entry barriers intact. If we dilute everything and make everything digital, then you are inviting a lot of players to come into this. Your business model will be challenging. So that is why the second-hand vehicle finance, which is very, very difficult to do, it has its entry barriers. Those things cannot be done through digital. So customer and collateral, customer will be fully digital, collateral will be mostly physical.
Interesting. That's a very good combination of a phygital model where you have
Digital.
physical plus digital, and
Correct.
uh, a very good combination business strategy. And lastly, what are the challenges you see in this business today, and how do you propose to take it forward to the new areas of opportunities?
So as I had outlined, there the challenges for an NBFC is mainly on the liability side. NBFCs historically have been able to perform well in their chosen line of business. You take any company, they have been able to do on the asset side very well. Liability side have been the challenge because you need capital, you need debt continuously to grow. So what we are doing is, as generations have changed, we are giving people first policy, but we are also mixing processes. Today the compliance and the governance has become very, very critical in a company's performance. So you can't only be people first. You will have to also implement a process mix into that. So we are doing this. These are all challenges. The challenge is that this industry is niche, and there are few companies which have got experienced people. And those companies, people who have been there, it's difficult to build a team which has the geographical product and relationship. If you want to grow from a 200 to 1000, you need 5,000, 6,000 people. So that is the most challenging of getting the right people who has the relationship to build this.
Interesting. So it is relationship, people, and a process is equal to success.
Correct.
To be in short, answering to this entire process of challenges that are
Correct.
there in the business. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Mr. Sridhar, for a wonderful conversation. I think I had a very good insight into the entire vehicle financing business thanks to your deep insights. And we look forward to more such interesting strategic and business talks with you in the future editions of Banking Frontiers Live. Thank you so much for such a wonderful conversation.
Thank you, Mr. Babu, for the opportunity.